Hello everyone and welcome to the KMTRADERS channel. So this is the full market analysis volume 13. So we basically go through all of our charts. We give you a brief view of what they look like. We explain our views. We're going to also include some predictions as well. And we're also going to just try and give you as much value as we can to give you, I guess, the best outlook for this up and coming week. So there was a lot of events that happened, a lot of trending markets, a lot of choppy behavior, and I just want to talk you through it and what my thought processes were behind it. So before we actually get into the video, if you're new to this channel or you're a new trader, we have a trading group that you can join. That link is in the description below. We just give you news updates, chart analysis, a lot more predictions on a day-to-day basis. So I won't talk so much about it, but if you haven't done so already, make sure you go join that. Again, link is in the description. So with this start of the video, we have gold, USDJPY, USD Chef, and USD CAD. I'll do a separate video tomorrow afternoon. So we'll just start to discuss from the other pairs. So our first pair that I want to look at is New Zealand dollar to the US dollar. So what we saw in the week, again, we had this huge strength in the New Zealand dollar. And we can see here, we had that huge push, came to a reversal zone. We also created a double top at this level here. So we also found a turning point as well. So we had all this selling pressure here, and on a high time frame, I just want you to know that, as markets never move in a straight old way, it has to have a pullback. So this phase of the market here, I believe, is the pullback. So I'm just waiting for the momentum to switch over and to see if we can push higher up again. So that's my long-term projection for this pair. I'm looking to see if the US dollar is going to still gain some weakness as well. We have a lot of reports through the week, last week, of the US dollar potentially crashing. So there is a lot of sentiment here. And again, it's just looking at this from a fundamental, sentimental, and a technical aspect. So that's what I try and look at. So in terms of the sentiment, this is just the, we're potentially just looking at the pullback phase. On the higher time frame, this is just that strength in the New Zealand dollar entering the pullback. So what we could be looking at here is just waiting for the break of a short, lower time frame trend line. And if we do get this, I won't be entering aggressively just on that break. What I will be looking for is just for that close above to break this line first, and then wait for price to confirm that we're pushing up, and it has to close above our reversal zone. So once that happens, we'll look for that potential reverse, so the pullback into this zone, and we could be looking at a good push from this level. So that's where I will be looking at. So that's at 0.65 to 0.64. That's where we could be looking for. But this is just a long-term perspective, and we just need to wait for price to break this trend line. So if that does happen, then we could be looking for this trading opportunity. But for the pullback momentum, it could be still pushing low. So we don't know if it's able to retrace any lower. If we were to take a fib and just draw our point-to-point level, we could expect price to come in between a 618 or the 78 point level, if you want to draw that out. So that's roughly around 0.63 and just above 0.62. So that could be an area to potentially reverse on the pullback. So just keep that in mind. And that's really what I'm looking at just for New Zealand dollar, US dollar. So not aggressive, we just need to stay a bit more patient and understand what cycle we're in. Okay, so moving on to Euro US dollar. We're looking at just a bit more of a waiting game. I mentioned this in the premium group that we could be looking at a potential reverse. You'll know why as we made that analysis for you. But in terms of the projection and where we're looking to go, is if we're looking to break below this level, waiting for the pullback, and again just that indecision in the market, and this will just be a key point in this level to potentially find that push and make a further low. We could be also breaking our lower time frame / intermediate level time frame uptrend. If that does happen, that would be obviously significant. But the second scenario that I want to look at is a buying scenario. So this is also provided in the EURUSD update that we posted last week, so it still remains valid. Just want you to look at it from what we're currently looking at. So if price fails to push lower than this and we don't find that point in the market where we find rejection, I will be waiting for a potential buy, but it won't be at this level. It will be looking at this point in the market here. So the reason for this is because we're at a high point in the market. We're at the high peak. So remember, this is on a high time frame. We could be looking at a brief pullback. So we have the huge push, the potential pullback, and then if the momentum continuates and pushes further up, this will be the area that we're looking to buy. Okay, so I need to make sure that we get a closure above here, the pullback, and then we'll wait for the indecision in the market here, and also pay attention towards the trend line that we have as well. So this is a higher time frame from this level connecting to this point. This is a period in the market where we could look for a break. So if we do get that retrace or price to pull back into this area, that would actually be very good. So we just wait for that pause in the market, and then we just look for that push, and we just wait for that to happen. So all we're doing is just waiting. So the market at the level that we're looking at is between 1.139, 1.136. Okay, so that's all we're looking at for EURUSD. So if we're not looking at this from an aggressive point, we're taking this at a very slow, relaxed approach. So I hope that makes sense. So if we look at the Aussie dollar to the US dollar, we are looking at, again, the similar scenario if you haven't noticed, but we're just looking for price to see where it's going. So understand that on a high time frame, that this is the push. We're potentially looking at retracement. So this level in the market, we can draw a smaller time frame downtrend that you can mark up more clearly. But if we do get the break of this trend line, I will not be entering here. Need more confirmation, and for that, for me, would be at this level here. Obviously, we had previous support / resistance, and that level in the market will be a good point for me to be confident enough to take a buy. If we do get that level, we'll get for that retrace level in the market for an indecision. Again, we discussed this in the premium group about our indecision points, and again, this is where we're looking to potentially get our buys from. Okay, so it's in the region of 0.698 to 0.695. So I hope you can start to see just a bit more of the processes and understanding of where I'm looking at in the market. I don't want you to think that I'm just waiting for a lot of confluences to occur. The more confluences that you can see, the better the trading opportunity and the more probable that your trade will win. Another thing as well is not to be trading aggressively to the levels that we post. You need to obviously look at more details with the price action on the lower time frame. And again, this all comes down to you. If you want to look at any lower time frame, it's just your opinion, and it's your preference. Obviously, trading is very personal, so you want to try look at it from your point of view. Okay, so this is how we're looking to trade. It's just from the 4-hour perspective as our entry points. So we're just waiting for, again, just that push, the momentum pullback, the indecision before we find the push again. So just simple waiting in the market. And again, there is a lot of patience in this strategy, which I hope you do realize. There is a lot of waiting, and that's obviously the key point that I want you to look at. So we're not going to cover USDJPY, we'll cover that tomorrow. So we'll move on to CADJPY. So if we go back again and give you a brief history of where we're looking at. So we've been stuck in this momentum sideways structure for a long time, okay? So we know we've always been stuck in this range. Well, not always, but we've just been stuck in this range for a brief period. So since the start of March, I would say. And it wasn't until the 1st of June of this month that we got that break. So if we look at this from a long-term perspective, we do have that huge push. But if you actually look, we never had the retest. So we actually coming back into the market where we are getting that retest of this structure, as you can see here. So we do have a rejection point. So that's a good sign to see. Now, I'm not going to play this aggressive unless I do see confirmation of a potential double bottom. So if we make this our downtrend, we could look for a potential buy like that. So we could get a buying order at this level of the market. But more often than not, we don't usually get a price action like this as lucky. If we do, then we're going to definitely take it. But what could definitely, or not, what will likely could happen is that we never find this retest here, and that's okay, because we could be getting trapped in between here, and the market can do whatever it needs to do. But the second point that we could be looking to buy is when it breaks structure above the high that it currently made. So if we do get that, we'll just wait for that pullback, wait for that area again for the indecision before we get that huge push in the market again. That's all we're looking for. Like, this is the key point in the strategy, is not over trading, it's just looking for the correct, strong, comfortable positions in the market that if it does lose, then yeah, it will lose, but it's better for you to lose here at the high point of the market, and as opposed to being, you know, wrong in between, because you can easily get caught out here. So don't look at this from an aggressive point. Again, all of the ideas that we talk about here are a more relaxed approach, which is what works for myself. Again, if you feel like you're aggressively trading, pushing the markets, forcing trades, you need to step back, take a reserved outlook of the market. Don't force yourself, just try and get a lot of confluences together. Potentially, I always use 3 as a minimum. Never look at anything less. That's just personally me. But anything 3 or more, that's perfectly viable for me to take a trade. So again, that's where I would be looking to take the buy. So this would be at around 81.5, and again from this level around 78.5 as well. So keep that level in your market, in the markets, and then put it on your charts. And you know, just have a look about and see how price reacts over the next few days. So moving on now to euro to the Japanese yen. So again, we had this huge push in the market, as you can see here. We've also had a brief moment where the market had been trapped. So we didn't really have a strong retest here. It was indecisive. It was quite choppy in this point, but we do have this huge push in the market. So as you can see, this trend line being formed. So we could be looking at a high time frame retracement. So all we could be looking at is just the wait for the structure to break, which we do have here. The second confluence that I will be looking for is just to wait for momentum to push above our level of interest, which is at 122.8. All we're doing is just waiting for that momentum to aggressively push before we wait for that pullback. Again, this area in the market is a point where we look for price change and wick rejection. So remember all that key important stuff, especially if you're in the premium group. Feel free to message me if you're not sure about this. We can definitely discuss this in more detail for you. And then we're waiting for that momentum kick to push us again into the direction where we're looking to go in the market. Again, we're just more waiting for this. We're not too involved with EURJPY for this week, just because we're noticing this pause in the market, and slight choppy behavior in between. So I'm not so keen here. Again, this is my personal outlook on this, but if we do buy, it would be looking around at that level. Okay, so moving on to euro to the New Zealand dollar. We put this out, this video, excuse me, we put this video out a couple days ago. So we're coming to a high time frame retracement. So we have this push, come to the retracement of this structure zone here. So we see, we do have a potential in the market to take a sell, and all we're doing now is just waiting for momentum to kick back down even more. So a good level in the market to make a decision is at this point, this market here. The reason I put this here is because we have one rejection point here, 2, the 3, 4 is a form of resistance. So if we drag it around here, so we could just simply look for a push, a retest at this level, and a push down again. We'd obviously have to readjust this in a bit more detail, but again, if you did want to take a buy, that would have been the perfect point. So the second thing that I'm looking at here as well is why I'm not taking this so aggressive. And it's because we do have some strong momentum towards the upside here. So if you can see here, sentiment wise, we do have a strong push, a retracement, a strong push. So this is a brief borderline between sentiment to be pushing down, but it could also be that sentiment where it could be the pullback. So we're not too keen here. So this is why this level here in the market is a good level to keep an eye out. And again, we're looking at this structure as a form of potential resistance. So this one's a bit of a tricky one, so I will be staying out, not playing aggressive as usual, just taking a more observed approach, and really picking out more details. So I do believe I need more evidence in order for me to personally get in on this pair and start actively trading it. But still, there is an opportunity to take on that pair every day, so don't think I'm not taking a trade. It just depends on the outcome of that day. So coming to the last 3 pairs of this video, hopefully there's a lot of key points that I went through. The very same thing again here, we can see that huge strength in the New Zealand dollar. This is the potential pullback, and again, when I mean by this pullback, this is on a higher time frame, so we can trade this on a lower time frame and scalp that position or intraday that position, but we know that the long-term perspective is towards the upside. So again, the best long-term buying point would be at the pullback before we get that that retracement in this level. So again, more reserved, but for the premium group, we will be taking and manipulating the pullback as much as we can to see if we can sell it off, sell it off, sell it off until we start to see that switch, and we will look to buy. But again, this is more of a long-term approach as it's the weekly analysis. So again, we would be looking for that push towards the upside at this level in the market, so just above 71. And 71.0, waiting for that close. And also take note how if we do close, it will be a very key point because we will break above the high that was made from the 5th of June. So we also remember, we had this huge push from the 19th to 18th of May. So all the way continuated momentum, slight retracement as you can see, but hopefully it's expected to push up. If we do, this will be our area of execution. So that's the again where we're looking to trade from on a long-term perspective. So I hope that makes sense. So we'll move on to AUDJPY. Again, it's very much a similar thing. I'm not going to talk so much about it, but huge push on a high time frame. Potential break of the pullback. All we're waiting for is a huge push in the market, retrace, extend that, sorry, pull back into this area, a form of indecision before we get that huge push again in the market. Simple structure, nothing complicated. The markets are back in a trending motion, so I hope you are manipulating all the pullbacks, all of the pushes, and really getting as much of the pips as you can capture. This is the once in, I think it's 30 or 25% of the time the market's trend. The rest of the time it does move sideways and it's really choppy. So this is the moment in time where you should be manipulating and really capitalizing on this huge growth that we're seeing right now. Okay, so a lot of good market potential, especially with this, obviously all the pairs, but again, just this push here, we're looking at that break and again the upside close. So this level is between 76.5, and again the same structure in the market. USD Chef, USD CAD will cover tomorrow. EUROCAD, this is just going to be a huge break, I just know it. The reason for this is because it's just been stuck in here since the 15th of April. No real actual direction, just been a huge trend, a huge range, as you can see here, 1 bound, 2 bound, 3, 4, also on the top side, 1, 2, 3, now the fourth point. So all we're doing here is just staying patient. I know it's been a very long time we've been waiting on this pair, but trust me and believe me that when we do get the breakout, I will be very excited to get in on this pair, and I believe you that the premium members will be, getting in on this trade, and I will be looking to get in on this pair. As we've seen in previous times, when ranges on a higher time frame are broken out, we are expected to get a huge push in either direction. So all we're doing is just waiting for that huge break to the upside, the pullback, and then that momentum to switch in this area before we get that push. So about 1.545 is where we're looking to get our buys in. So again, that's pretty much all for this week's analysis video. Hope you can start to see a bit more with this week as opposed to the previous weeks, that the markets are slowly coming into a trending formation. So what I mean by that is we get that the huge push with the side pullback, and then all we're waiting for is just the next wave to continue. And in the group, we'll be looking to take all of the opportunities as much as we can, because this is the period in the market, God knows when it will take the next consolidation phase again, but I will be looking to manipulate as much of the moves as we can in the premium group. Okay, so I hope this video was as valuable to you as much as we could. We tried obviously give you as much info. We also looked at our charts and showing where we're looking to potentially buy or sell from, gave you some of our predictions, and explaining our thought processes behind each potential opportunity. So I really do hope this video did help you. If you did make it all the way to the end of this video, please make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube video, the YouTube channel. It really does. I really do appreciate the support, and of course, if you do need any help, all you have to do is message me on our Instagram, which is at KMTRADERS. I'm happy to help anyone. Just make sure you message us and we will get back to you as soon as we can. So if you do have a message or you do want to join our premium group, again, just message us on our Instagram, just about inquiring about that. And that's it really for this video. So thank you very much for listening to the full market analysis, and we'll catch you all for the next week's video. So thank you very much, and we'll see you guys in the next one.